Hi, everybody. This is the Berlin Council on Aging meeting for September 26, 2023. Just to let everybody know that this is currently being done on Zoom and by hybrid. So the fact that it is a recorded Zoom means that your name, face, and voice and image may be recorded. So we just wanted to give everybody a heads up on that before we start our meeting. So go ahead, guys.
Okay, let's take attendance. Kate Schultz.
Karen, yes.
Oh, sorry, Karen.
That's okay.
Rachel Boyer.
Here.
Lori Farabee here. Kate Bliss.
Not yet.
Okay, Pat Wheeler.
Pat's here.
I see you, Pat.
Oh, we see you. We can't hear you.
Okay, Bob Blair's not here yet. Chris Keefe.
Here.
And Victoria.
Hey, Chris.
Yep. Perfect.
Okay. Guess we're good to go.
Did you say Pat is there?
She is. She was just, we couldn't hear her. So I think that they were just trying to reload
Okay, but
the
she's
screen.
there.
Yep.
We're expecting Kate late. And are we expecting Bob?
Yes.
Okay. I couldn't remember if I had sent the the June minutes, and then I sent them today, and I put in the headline May, and I just resent it because they were June.
Got it.
Okay. Sorry about that confusion. And if you already had them, then we already had them, but I couldn't recall if I had sent them. I had them in my...
I didn't have them before. I had the May minutes, but I didn't have June's.
Okay. All right. Well, I did just send them.
Perfect.
Yep.
All right. So next on agenda here is reviewing the meeting minutes from June. The meeting in June was back on June 27th. Did you guys have any questions or any comments, concerns about the meeting minutes?
Nope.
Were you able to at least glance at them? I'm sorry I sent them so late.
Nope. All right. We can try to take a vote if you guys would want to for the meeting minutes. Just want to make sure we can be able to hear and see Pat just so she can participate in that.
Is she there though? I don't see her.
Pat, can you hear us? Let's see. We saw
yeah, I can
you.
see-
Yeah. Yeah.
I can see she's there.
Does she need to unmute?
She's unmuted. I'm not sure if her speaker fully. Sometimes I've noticed with Zoom, especially like when we do like Tai Chi or yoga, that sometimes the computers take a little while to fully load the audio, depending again on the computer. So, if you guys want, what we can do is this. If we can't get Pat back on in the, Pat, I don't know if you can hear us, if you can turn your camera back on. What we can try to do is if you guys wanted to wait on voting until either Bob and Kate show up, we could do that. And I can just kind of give you guys a rundown continuing on the meeting, or until Pat gets her technical difficulties all straightened out.
We can wait. I'm fine with that.
Okay.
Anyone else? Lori, what do you think?
I'm fine
Rachel?
waiting. I can wait.
Fine.
Okay.
Fair enough. All right. Let me just give you guys the updates. I know it's the financials.
Okay.
And then Karen, I can email you these numbers too, if you would like. So the figures that we're talking about here are from starting July 1st till today. Okay.
Okay.
Director wages for fiscal year 24 are as follows. Expenses were $2,239. and 34 cents. Then part-time wages were $2,757.85. We had donations of $315. And then my total director wages for have been $7,935 even. And then that's for
Got it.
3 months.
Yeah.
Since we haven't met. Do you guys have any questions on the financial piece?
Nope.
Okay. All right. Just general updates about programming in terms of Tai Chi, yoga, and the van schedule. So what we have been doing is starting in August for Saturday mornings, we have added in a sail class for the 10 o'clock slot. Normally, previously, we were having just regular yoga with chair yoga, and chair yoga's attendance had been a little low. And Sharon has become sail certified. And basically, the sail program, what they do is that it is a strength and conditioning program that it helps people maintain flexibility, mobility, and it basically can be used as like a subsequent like fall prevention type of exercise. So it's it's been pretty successful. We've been averaging about 5 to 6 people generally per session. And the people who are participating seem to really enjoy it. Sharon had been able to kind of prep some of the participants ahead of time too, just letting them know that we were shifting from it, previously to now. So that has been as a whole pretty successful. And at this point, we're planning on keeping sail going.
What are you calling it? Sail?
Sail, like a sailboat. Yeah. SAIL.
Oh, okay.
Not like a, business sail.
No. Okay. Got it. Yeah.
No. So that has been yoga. Tai Chi's pretty much been the same. Nothing really super big to report there. The van service has been impacted. We currently have a driver who is out on workers' comp. So we've been having limited van ability at this point. I have interviewed somebody to be a per diem driver. I interviewed them last week. So at this point, we are just pending appropriate paperwork for them. So like their CPR certification, their physical driver's record, thing of that nature. And so once that they get formally cleared, I can add them in as a potential, again, per diem driver to be used as needed.
Excellent.
I don't have any updates about the driver who's currently out on workers' comp. So unfortunately, I don't have any updates for you guys. We just kind of get periodic updates. So when I know that person will be returning, or when I know that the van schedule will be enhancing, I will keep you all posted. But as of right now, it's just kind of where we're at.
We really don't have anything right now then. Nobody's driving.
So we have van service right now for 1 day a week. So basically people who need to go get grocery shopping done, we can do that. And then what we are doing is I am hopeful that the driver that we have currently will be able to pick up Wednesdays temporarily starting in October, just to kind of help us fill in some of the gap. And then, like I said, beyond that, I'm honestly, until either the per diem driver gets cleared or I get more updates on our current driver, I'm not quite sure if we'll be able to expand it farther than that. But we're trying, guys.
Wow.
The residents, thankfully, have been really accommodating. And like I said, we've been just trying to prioritize as much as we can, making sure that people have what they need. Thankfully, like I said, anybody who needs grocery runs, we've been able to do them without any issue. So that's been some good news. So, yeah. So unfortunately, that's just kind of where we're at. I am hopeful that we will get some updates soon. But like I said, I will keep you guys posted for next meeting where we're standing. And hopefully I will have some better news. All right. Next thing on the agenda is so just some upcoming clinics that we have that are town-wide. Normally, with the Neshoba Boards of Health, you can have your monthly blood pressure and diabetes clinics. But during the month of October, they cease those because they are doing flu clinics, at all their participating towns. So the flu clinic for Berlin is going to be at Berlin Memorial on Thursday, October 12th. So it's after Columbus Day. For anybody out there who's interested, it is a pre-registration that's online. So if anybody has any technical issues or has any questions, they could certainly give me a call, and I will certainly do my best to help them out. I believe the clinic is from 3:30 to 6, and it is open to everybody 6 months of age and older. Usually the clinics are pretty successful, so like I said, I suspect we'll get a decent turnout. And then some other good news is that Kristen and I have been working with Community Health Connections out of Fitchburg, and we have been able to plan a COVID clinic for Berlin for the end of October. So the COVID clinic, we're still finalizing all the details. So nothing has formally been released as of yet, but as of right now, the clinic is going to be on Wednesday, October 25th. This will be open to the public, but we are targeting seniors. It is going to be actually held at Northbrook 2. The thought is that a lot of the residents at Northbrook have been asking, between 1 and 2 have been asking for additional COVID boosters, and they are a population that doesn't always have access to a car. So we figured having it down there, it's easier to get going. As of right now, we're tentatively looking between 10 a.m. and 1 p.m. And then what we're going to have to do is just get within the next week or so, a pre-registration flyer should be going out, and I'll make sure you guys are copied on that. We'll get them distributed out to the hot spots of town, and we're asking people to register by the Friday before the 20th. So the pre-registration is basically name, date of birth, and then your health insurance information, and then if you need Pfizer or Moderna. It looks like at this point, from what I saw, it looks like they're offering both. So hopefully that will continue. I can't guarantee it though, depending on shortages and supply. But as of right now, they're at least asking what people would prefer. And then obviously when you come day of, you're bringing your health insurance card and your COVID card. So that is that.
And so you said there'll be no blood pressure clinic for the month of October.
Correct. Yes. So basically what happens with the month of October is that the Neshoba Boards of Health, they're straight out. So they're doing at least 2 to 3 clinics a week minimally. So they don't have the time to, but I would suspect that clinics would resume back in November.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Here's what we can do. I don't know. Pat, are you able to hear us or turn on your camera? I just want to see if we can get her back. I haven't seen Barbara Kate come in yet. Let's see. All right. All right. All right.
Pat's not responding.
Mm-mm. Will do. All right. Waiting for Bob and Kate. I can just give you guys some other general updates as well. So next on the list is the Powder House. We did get it out for the September-October issue. It looked really good. Thank you, Lori. Just to give you guys some general updates. So When I brought it down to the post office at the end of August, the post office has changed its processing for bulk mailings such as our powder house. So going forward, it's going to be a little bit different. So what happened was, is I guess starting on July 1st, they had their new postage rates that came out. So we all knew that postage was going to be a little bit more. But I guess they are now also shifting to a system where you have to basically pre-populate. There's a form I have to pre-populate every time we bring the powder houses down for postage. And now apparently it's done all internally through a portal that the post office has. So Kristen has created an account for the USPS, so we can try to use that the next time we're going to get the powder house out. To be honest with you, I don't know how finicky the system is going to be. We will certainly try it. I will do my best to do like a test run a week or two before the next powder houses go out, just so in case we have any delay. Because normally what has to happen with this form is that now through the portal, they want everything pre-populated. I print out the form and then that's when I can pay it at the post office, or I pay it online. They're no longer letting us go and they're no longer letting us just go and like I bring the form to the counter and then they populate in what they need to. So it's a little tricky, but yeah, it was a not nice surprise. So it kind of is what it is. At this point, the town's permit that we have is, I believe, still valid through April. And I have also been talking to Kristen as well about potentially shifting the Powder House, instead of it being a senior only publication, to a town publication starting next fiscal year, because I know that one of the big concerns that, you know, Kristen and other, you know, the select board and stuff like that have been talking about as well, is just trying to get more frequent updates out to the town. And if, as a COA, we cannot afford to do a more frequent or bigger publication, but here comes Bob, by the way. But if, you know, the town is able to do it, they may be able to do like a monthly newsletter that goes out that will keep things to be a bit more timely. Postage has gone up again. The last round of Powder House postage was just shy of, it was about $360. So we're back up to the higher rates that we were getting a break from for a little while. And when I do the new system, we will see if that has changed at all. So it's going to make budgeting a little interesting, but it is what it is. And then just generally speaking, oh, hi, Bob.
Hi, did they say why the rate went up again? Aside from the fact they would like our money?
So when I spoke with them, they didn't give me a specific reason as to why the rate went up. It looks like now that I know that the price of postage stamps, I think, is about 64 cents per stamp, and the breakdown pretty much of the amount of powder houses that we're mailing out per the cost, we're now almost approaching 50 cents a newsletter going out. So it, yeah, I know. So, like I said, I have been talking with Kristen to see if the Powder House can shift to be potentially a town publication. It's not going to happen before the end of the fiscal year. So that would be money that, again, we would be getting back if the town takes it over. And we are also talking to see if maybe Kristen is also looking into seeing if a more industrial or commercial size postage machine would be better versus us trying to figure out the stuff at the post office. You know, it's a bit more efficient, a bit easier to use. So that is pending. It's not going to happen. If any of these changes happen, it wouldn't be until, like I said, the postage, the permit for the postage doesn't expire, I believe, until April. So this is what it is, at least until then. And then the Powder House is still going to be under our purview, at least through the end of the fiscal year.
How are we doing with sponsors?
We are okay. The sponsors that we have, the first round of sponsors, all expire at the end of the calendar year. So I am going to be sending letters out to those who did sponsor us previously, asking if they would like to renew their sponsorship. And what
I
we
make
will
a
do is, yeah,
I'd like to see our board members, including me, obviously, take on a certain number of the people of the organizations, businesses, whatever, list and contact them personally. I think that gets more result than sending out a letter. Because now they've got somebody they know or should know talking to them, and I think it's harder to say, nah, I don't think so.
that is
How
up
does
to
the-
you guys. Yeah.
How does the board feel about that? Are you agreeable to the idea of taking on a certain number and going out and banging on the doors?
How many are there?
As of right now, we have 6 sponsors. I mean, we're always looking for more. And what we could do is, I would say the sponsorships, not knowing how the Powder House is going to be presented in the future, we could always, ask them to do sponsoring at least through the fiscal year. And then, whether or not the Powder House becomes a town entity, they can then decide if they wanted to renew their sponsorship, if it's a town paper. Like I said, I'm not sure if the paper for the town is going to be more frequent or, how that is going to look fully. But I figured, we can certainly, again, like the businesses around, I know a lot of people are hurting, and I know, there's a lot of people out there who I'm sure would love to be sponsoring, but just can't afford it. Something else to consider as well, and again, like we don't have to go down this road today, is with the newsletter, is that usually with a lot of other cities and towns, it's their friends of group who help to solicit the funding to get, and they're usually the ones who pay for it. Again, we don't have to go down that road today, but that is something to think about too, if we wanted to try to get another revenue source.
If it's a town newsletter, can the sponsors put ads in it?
Even if it's through the town, I don't know if they would be able to be honest, Lori. I think it would be kind of almost set up like the way it is now,
Okay.
even if it's at the town level. I can quadruple check with Kristen, but I don't know if it's really going to be able to change.
Okay.
And what do other towns do? I know we've been over this before, but it escapes my mind. Like Bolton has a Bolton
Yep.
Stowe
So
publication.
yeah. So depending again, like you said, like Bolton and Stowe have a regional one. Boylston has uses an outside newsletter to print their uses an outside news agency. I think they're from New Hampshire. They print it. They get ad space. And then I know Northborough has their friends group who pays for theirs. I believe Shrewsbury's friends group pays for theirs. And then I think it's the same for Hudson.
And we don't got no friends.
We could. But again,
Well-
that could be something that we can talk about another day.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying though, I think the personal approach gets more results than sending out a generic letter and saying we really could use some financial support for the Powder House News, and we'll recognize you as a whatever sponsor or whatever.
I mean, I will be contacting those who sponsored us previously, and just I will send something out to them personally, just confirming if they wanted to continue on with their sponsorship, and if they had any questions or anything like that, I'll gladly answer them. I just think just trying to solicit new people, my time's going to be pretty tight, guys. I don't know how much I'm going to be able to do in terms of meeting and greeting people.
No, I'm saying that's something I think we can do. And you at one point sent a list of all of the people in town, who businesses and so forth, who could be contacted. I wonder if you might send that out to the various members of the board again, and then we can, among ourselves, decide who will take how many.
Yeah, I can do that.
All right. Is that okay with the rest of the board? Because I really think we need to get this thing on rolling.
That's fine with me as long as we have the talking points, like the cost, which I don't remember offhand, but
I
it's got a
can,
couple of bullet points.
I can give you guys the rough costs for postage. I would say postage is going to be an estimation because, like I said, every time we go, it between the price hikes and the permit, it does vary a little bit. But the Powder House itself has been a fixed cost since day one. Clinton Offset is not charging us anymore. than they had. So as of right now, Clinton, just the Clinton offset piece for color 800 newsletters is $7.60. So we're about 90 cents a newsletter. But that's also folded, labeled, everything. So yeah. And then what we'll have to do too is once we get the new census list, if we get new seniors who we've got guaranteed moving into town, that'll be, you know, that will may or may not increase the number of newspapers going out. Something that Kristen had suggested that again we can discuss this at another time is, do we want to have do we even want to just try to solicit people too? Because I think that there are some people who get the Powder House by mail who are really thankful that they get it by mail. But I'm also thinking too that we do have a swath of town who they get it and they may look at it for like a day and then it just gets recycled. And I don't know, if we can kind of either target those who are like, no, I really don't want it, a paper version. I guess like some towns, like Kristen was saying that she's been aware of like, some people will go and just ask like, you have to respond back if you want it by mail, to try to get a more accurate number of mailings. So like I said, it's something we can consider. We don't have to go down that road today. But I think just something to kind of keep in the back of our minds as we continue to have the Powder House.
Yeah, time's running out. At the end of the year, we lose our sponsors unless we renew them, and it would be nice if we had more than the present small.
Yeah.
Can you put out a list of potentials to call, and then also what the cost of?
Yep. And I will send you guys the template letter that I had sent out also, so you guys can see what was sent out previously. And then if you guys think that like you need a script or something like that too, let me know and I can do my best to come up with one. Okay. Bob and Kate, before you guys joined in, Karen had emailed out the minutes, but we didn't take a vote on it. I think Pat's having some technical difficulties, so she's here, but we can't hear her. So we haven't voted on anything yet.
Yep.
So I will leave it up to you all if you wanted to vote for the meeting minutes for June.
Quorum?
We have it.
Okay, let's vote. All those in favor of accepting the as written. Cast of characters, I don't have it on my phone for some reason. I'm doing it off my phone rather than my.
All right. Lori, do you want to take it sounds like there's a motion to do the voting for the meeting minutes of June. Lori, do you just want to do roll call for that?
Okay, this is for the meeting, for the June meeting notes. Karen Schultz,
Aye.
Rachel Boyer,
Aye.
Lori Farabee, aye. Kate Bliss,
Aye.
Pat Wheeler, Bob Blair.
Oh, okay.
All right, so it passes.
All right.
Yep.
Perfect. Next on the agenda is talking about a grab and go. I've reached out to Chef du Jour. They have tentatively booked us. They've set aside for us for October 25th for a basically dinner time grab and go. I know that is the same day as the COVID clinic, but the COVID clinic should be long done well before this. And if you guys don't want to do something in October, we can try to look to see about like early November. But I figure like that late October timeframe would be nice, nice change of season offering. We haven't been able to do one since since April. So I figured kind of a good time to do it.
Anybody have a problem?
Oh, go ahead, Bob. Sorry.
I was going to say, anybody have a concern about that date?
No,
October.
good with me.
Perfect. For menu idea, we tried a two entree system last grab and go, and it actually worked extremely well. So my thought is for this one is if we wanted to do an offering of either roast chicken or baked scrod. And then with both meals, you have like your roll, your mixed veggies, your rice, and the dessert. And then what we can do though is I did ask Chef du Jour if we get somebody who's either vegetarian or somebody who just doesn't like has allergies or something like that. And they said that if we have like a few people who need a specialized order, they can do it.
Okay.
So I figured,
Or rice pilaf with those, that would go either of those.
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah,
And then
that
what-
was my,
Veg,
what was that, Bob? I'm sorry.
what would we use for veggies?
There's a mixed veggie, so it's usually like a zucchini, carrot, broccoli-ish kind of medley.
Okay, thing on a wheat roll for people who are trying to avoid white bread.
I can ask them if they have wheat rolls.
Anybody stomach turn at the thought, or does that sound okay?
That's
If
good.
they do not have wheat rolls, do we scratch the roll? Or do you want to keep the roll?
No, we should keep on a roll.
Oompa.
Okay, that sounds good. And for dessert.
I will have to ask them what they would have available. It's usually like it's either I think the last time we did it in the fall, I think we had apple crisp, but I will ask them what they could do for dessert. It's usually, I would say, either like a piece of cake, like cheesecake, cake type of thing, or or pie. Or I think one time we did it and they did like brownies.
Brownies is a nice blob of ice cream. Oh, never mind, that would melt.
That part would melt, yes.
What kind of cost are they throwing at us?
So for like the other meals previously, looking at this point, the baked scrod is about I think it's about $9 a head. The roast chicken is about $6, per meal. And then the roll butter is about $150. I think the rice is about $250. Mixed veggies is the same. So I would say all in all that this meal is probably about $16 per head, between 16 to 18 a head, depending on the option.
Come with wine?
Well, if somebody wants to stop somewhere else on their way home, I will not say
Donate.
anything.
Well, that's right.
It's BYOB, Bob.
Bring your own
Well,
bus.
actually, it's actually PYOB, purchase your own. Yeah. So.
Yeah. It's a thought.
So, yeah, so I will, if you guys are good with that menu, I just wanted to firm it up with you guys before I wrote back to them. But if you guys are good with that, I will email them after this and just let them know here's what we're thinking. If they have any, I will ask if they have anything beyond just a basic white roll. And if we get an option, I will ask for that. And we can go
Any-
from there.
Feeling on a roll, because apparently that makes $1.50 difference.
It's up to you guys if you want to scrap it.
What's the feeling? Speak, group. Anybody think we should dump the roll?
I don't have strong feelings either way.
Okay, you could roll with the punch, in other
Yeah.
words.
Yeah, I'll just roll with it.
That's
I
right.
assume we've always had the roll.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think people come to expect the roll.
Then I think we should leave it,
Yeah.
whether it's white or wheat.
Right. What's the date again? October what?
25th, Kate.
25th.
25th?
Okay.
Yes. That's the last Wednesday.
Now, how does this get advertised to the public?
So what we're going to do is now that we have the confirmed menu, I will mail that out, confirm that with Chef du Jour. When I know what that is, I will make flyers. Kate posts it at 19 Carter. I send them out to Northbrooks 1 and 2, and then we can put, like with the COVID clinic, we'll post it basically like library, post office, general store. We'll hit all the major things. Plus, we'll also put it online to Facebook and Berlin Neighbors Connect. And usually that is enough, and we always get a response.
Yeah,
You
sounds
can
good.
post- you can post it on the bulletin board at the mail kiosk.
Yeah, at the post
on-
office.
West.
Yep.
Oh, and how
Okay.
about the one up Highland Street. I can never think of the name of it, but that new development up there.
Oh, Highland Ridge.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I could see what we could do about getting it up there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Goody.
So yeah, so I think that that will work. I will let them know. And then just to let you guys know, for those who do the delivery / packing, before end of last fiscal year, I bought like those restaurant style paper bags that have the handles on them, like you use, Bob, for Meals on Wheels. So it'll be much easier for us now to package said meals and get them on their way. So we don't have to worry about them toppling, because it's
They
always
topple.
been exactly. So that should hopefully no longer be an issue.
Yeah. Having the handles on the bags makes it a lot easier, chucking them out of the car and stumbling up people's sidewalks and so forth without dropping the food.
Yeah. And especially, I had a hard time finding them, but thankfully Amazon. So there we go. So
see-
we will beta test these new bags and see if they're a help or a hindrance. I would say if they're a hindrance, then we just use up what we have and then we never buy them again. But if it's something that is beneficial, then I can add it kind of to the supplies that I would buy annually for the COA.
Yeah, those bags with handles run about between 60 and $70 for a box.
Yep.
Of you're in it quite a bunch.
Yeah, I think we got 200. So yeah.
Next.
All right. So next, guys, is when we had our last powder house that went out, we did discuss that we have an open COA member for the council, and we have two ladies who have expressed interest in said seat. So I'm going to promote both of them just so we can hear from both of them, and we can have a discussion at a later point. Basically, what we would do is you guys would, we can do it even next session as well. Vote to see who you guys would like to have to fill the open slot, and then we make that recommendation to the select board, who would confirm. Okay.
Great.
All right. So I'm going to promote both ladies, and then they are both named Linda. So this is going to be very interesting. So joining us, we have Linda Robinson and we have Linda Tomasino as they join our panel. All right. Good afternoon, Lindas. Welcome to our COA meeting. Hopefully you've enjoyed it so far.
And yes, Bob is always like this with his puns.
What?
Oh no. Yeah, no.
Squirrel marks.
So what we can do is both of you now are panelists, so you should be able to turn on audio and video. What we can do is we can start, I guess, with Linda Tomasino. If you just want to say a little bit about yourself and tell the council just what made you interested in potentially joining, we can go from there.
There I am.
Here
Well,
you are. Hi.
Hi, Lori.
Hi,
I have been on the periphery of doing things in Berlin since we moved here about 20 years ago. Currently, I'm on the board of the food pantry. Worked with Lori on the bicentennial committee, which seems like 10 million years ago. Well, it was actually at this point. And am also active. I'm interested that you mentioned the Friends of like Northborough. I just got my Northborough Times. I volunteer
Yes.
over at the senior center in Northborough, and they come out with a pretty slick publication every month, but they also have sponsors, wealthy sponsors, that real estate people and that type of thing. And I don't know who solicits the sponsors. I can find out. It's possibly the people who actually print the newsletter, I do believe.
It is.
So there's some issues there. And again, as you were saying, you have to work with the post office. They have to work with this specific program to get this to the publication. Anything anybody wants to know about me?
Well, thank you, Linda, for that info. I do appreciate it.
Yes, do you like white rolls or wheat rolls?
I don't like any rolls, Bob. If we got starch in the rice, we don't need a roll.
All right.
One starch is enough. And for $1.50, yeah, rice is plenty.
All
Do you have
right.
any areas where you would like to see the Berlin COA expand services, or do you have any ideas for something that you think is
I
lacking?
don't, but I noticed that you postage, of course, is going up tremendously. 3 different times I requested that I get the Potter House News via email, and it's never happened. I still keep getting a
Alright.
paper copy.
All right.
So-
I'm adding you I'm adding you now to the email list.
Okay, good. Because like you say, I read through it and you make note of what you want on your calendar, and then basically you throw it away. Or see which of your neighbors have passed away since the last time you got the newsletter. But other than that, I don't know if more people would prefer to get it email or not.
It's been an ongoing campaign, Linda. What we've been doing is, we've been putting in a little blurb now with each Powder House that if anybody would like it by email, you certainly can. As soon as Lori sends me the digital copy for us to bring to Clinton Offset, they also get automatically updated to the COA website. And I know that is something that sometimes people have a little bit of trouble accessing. So it's going to be tying into something that I'm going to be aiming to helping to improve in a little while.
So it's found on the COA website.
Yes.
Got it. Okay.
Yep.
Got it.
Is it distributed to people though, if they choose to sign up via email?
To be honest with you, we've only had like a handful at times who've asked for it by email. It's not an ongoing list.
Well, I'm just thinking maybe there's a
yeah.
glitch in the system if Linda has asked a couple of times and the word hasn't gotten to you.
Well, I also think part of the problem is I didn't know where to look for it online. So it would be the Town of Berlin Council on Aging.
Correct.
Okay, got it. And that's the way the Northborough Times does it also. You have to go to the town website and then under the senior center. And then again, you have to just keep drilling down until you find the newsletter, but all their programs and things are listed on their website.
Yep, we do the same thing. And same thing with the Powder Houses. The most recent year is always on top. So currently 2023 is on top. And then we just go out, then we just go by newsletter that way.
Got it. So it's operator error in my event.
It's all good. Nope, there's no errors. This is just an improvement. So we're good.
Great.
Anything else? Linda, anything else that you wanted the COA to know?
Not really. Unless, somebody has any questions for me.
I don't have any questions. I just want to say thank you to you both for your interest.
Oh, you're welcome.
Absolutely. And trust me, I will make sure that, regardless of whatever happens, like that you guys will both be kept updated and involved, with like things like the grab and go, the clinics, things like that, because like I said, we want the participation regardless. And we're happy that, residents care and that they want to know and they want to have an input. So.
Right.
Because we've got in my very biased opinion, we've got a very great council. So I'm happy that,
do a lot with a small group.
Yeah. Exactly. Well, thank you, Miss Linda. I do appreciate it.
You're welcome.
All right. I'm gonna ask you just to turn off your camera and your microphone, and then we're gonna have Miss Linda Robinson come up. All right. Linda, can you hear us?
I can. Can you hear me?
I can. We can't see you, but if you just want to be audio only, that's okay.
So I apologize. I'm not trying to be a mystery person, but my laptop camera died about 4 hours ago. So
oh no.
I have to into my IT support. But anyway, I thank you everybody for letting me be a part of this. This was very interesting. I have moved to Berlin about 3.5 years ago, and I live on Boylston Road. My background is that I'm a physical therapist by training, and I worked most of my physical therapy career in home care, so it's very geriatric based for the most part. And then I've been in healthcare administration for many, many years. And most recently, I've worked as the operations director for a PACE program. I don't know if you're all familiar with PACE, but it's a program for frail elders to try. The mission is to keep them in the community. So I work for East Boston Neighborhood Health Center. And so I've been doing that position for about 12 or 13 years. And so recently I partially retired, which opens up a little bit of life to me, which is very exciting. So I just wanted to get more immersed in the community of Berlin. I moved here literally 3 weeks before COVID hit. So I learned very little about my community initially, and I'm just starting to be able to dabble a bit. So I thought that this would be a place where my background could maybe be useful, just give back something to this community. So that's who I am. And I promise, at some point, I hope I can all meet you so that you can actually see me in person. I do apologize.
No, all good. We're looking forward to it.
Any questions for me?
Bob?
Bob, do you have questions for me?
I'm probing my brain here.
I like both white and wheat rolls.
Okay, there you go. That's the important one.
Butter, particularly. Yeah.
We like flexibility. That's good. Do you have any programs you have in mind that you would like to see added to what the Council on Aging presently offers?
I don't at this point, because I don't feel like I know enough about what the Council on Aging offers. I do read the Powder House News. That's how I learned that this position was open. But I don't have anything right off the top of my head. But I hope that, having a background in really dealing with frail elders, that maybe I can help to make some suggestions around meeting maybe the needs of people who are less able to, get around and take care of themselves. So
I think, Linda, I'm doing the ADA coordination for Berlin, and you are definitely on my list of people to call as we get projects going.
Yep, that's fine. I'm happy to help. I'm at least used to reading those kinds of regulations. So I'm happy to help.
Anybody else have any particular questions for Linda?
Well, one other one would be, do you have connections through your professional work that would help us access information or bring about new ideas?
I certainly have connections through my work for ideas, or if we needed some information that I could access. Unfortunately, I haven't worked in this area. I actually work now for East Boston Neighborhood Health Center. So, and that's the PACE program that I was a director at. So I wouldn't necessarily have direct resources in the area, but I certainly have resources for information.
That's good.
Fair enough. All right. Any other questions? Okay. Well, Linda, we appreciate you coming aboard as well to the meeting, and I'm glad that you found it entertaining. And, for both you and for Linda Tomasino, what we'll probably do is we will make a decision for the next meeting, I think. And, if the COA has any particular questions, I will be in touch with both of you just to do some follow-up.
Okay, great. I appreciate meeting all of you, and thanks for the time.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Thank you for
Thank you.
offering this.
Yes, thank you to both of you.
Yeah,
Yes.
thank you.
Take care.
We like Linda's.
Good thing there's a lot of us.
All right. All right. So at this point, what we're going to do is going forward, let's see, I'm just trying to pull up my my agenda. Okay. So just generally speaking too, also for COA records, during the summer, what I was doing is I was looking at the retention schedule that the state has for COA records. And what I've been trying to do is I've been trying to digitize a lot of what we have. We have a lot of paper in the COA office, which is deceptive considering how small it is. So what I'm trying to do is have digital copies as well as paper copies of everything. So just in case, God forbid, something happens to the paper copy, we have a digital copy.
Yeah.
And I also have purchased for the COA an external hard drive. So that is where a lot of the additional older records are being stored as well. What my ultimate plan is that for old COA meeting minutes, and I'm talking like well over a decade at this point, there's a lot of the older meeting minutes that never voted to start the meeting, end the meetings, things of that nature. So we have a lot of meeting minutes that I think we're going to have to ask to do votes on in a draft form just to accept these minutes as they are. I think that the formal meeting minute criteria kind of happened more so in the last 10 to 15-ish years. But prior to, they were very kind of rougher agendas. So what my plan to do is that as I'm scanning everything in is I'm going to send you guys all a Google Drive link so you guys can review everything. And then what we'll do is probably before the end of the year, I'll have you guys vote to accept everything in its draft form, just so we can get that cleared. And also too, it's some transparency also for the town. Just it's very, very curious to see what the council was working on in 1986, gotta say. And so it's just, like I said, I think it's just something that, just making sure everything's neat and tidy.
Is the approving of minutes from 1986 and other years before that a statutory requirement?
So what we can do is you cannot make any changes, but
No.
you can vote to accept stuff as a draft or as is. That's it.
As presented.
As presented, exactly.
But again, is there some kind of law, rule, or whatever applying
It
to
is,
COA? Or is that?
I believe for municipal boards, committees, it is best practice.
Just seems weird approving minutes from well before the time we were on the.
I know. And then, like I said,
Oh.
I think that again, because of the way things were, it wasn't necessarily as heavily regulated. I mean, other cities and towns I'm sure have had similar issues. It just, like I said, it's best practice. So.
Well, if nothing else, it gives us a sense of what COA has had on the fire in previous years, and that's helpful in thinking about what we do or don't offer now.
Yep. Absolutely.
Okay.
So as that process is continuing, and then, so like I said, what I will do is I'm trying to create a Google Drive where you guys can access everything that's older. And by older, I mean, for most of the stuff that we have to keep records for, it's usually about 3 years. So 3 years for Tai Chi and yoga attendances, about, 2 to 3 years of van logs, things of that nature. I'm talking about stuff that's older, and then, like I said, the meeting minutes and agendas, you guys have been excellent, prior to when I started as well of doing that. But for the stuff that is, pretty old, that's what you guys would be voting for. Okay.
Good.
All right. Next up, we have just some other projects for fiscal year 24. So just to give you guys some updates on what's going on with me. So good news, the town of Berlin did receive $35,000 for digital literacy for our seniors.
Oh.
So that is now my new baby that I've got to figure that out. So basically it's state funding and we're waiting for it to come in. And what we're going to be doing is that we're going to be purchasing GrandPads, which are basically iPads aimed for seniors. It's a bit more streamlined of a device with some mobile hotspots. And then we are going to be offering group classes and one-on-one sessions for seniors of town to become more technologically literate. This can include everything from learning how to use the stuff for the town's sake. So this could be like My Town Government, Facebook, Zoom, YouTube, things like that. And also to becoming more literate and being able to use like health records, like a lot of the portals that are out there, and then also to staying safe online, making sure that people feel like that they have a sense of security and are being cyber aware. The library is also going to help us do some classes as well regarding Libby and their technological resources as well. So at this point, nothing has formally started as of yet. We are still pending the money from the state. It should be coming very soon. So once the money comes in, I will be purchasing the products that we're going to be using for these classes. And then we are going to start soliciting for people who are more technologically savvy to help teach these classes. The goal is that the classes are going to be taught at public places, so the library, town offices, as well as community rooms at, say, like Northbrook, Brook Lane, Highland Ridge, things of that nature, so we can get the most bang for our buck. And what we're going to do as well is that we are offering one-on-one sessions, but we are going to ask people that before they sign up solely for a one-on-one, that they take another class first, just so they have a general kind of idea of what's going on. So that is now the new project. So I'm very excited about this. I've planted the bug with a couple of people who, and their ears have already perked. So I'm very, like I said, I think that this is going to be huge because I know that the technology is a huge barrier for a lot of people in town.
Yeah,
That's
that
great.
sounds. And how soon did you say you think this will start with your?
So round one is I got to buy all this, like round one, like the town, we got to purchase everything. And then I've got to reach out to CM Geeks because then they got to put their antivirus, everything on that. So my goal is to start classes in the new year. Because the thought is too, is we've also, as part of our proposal, we've budgeted marketing. So using Clinton Offset to create flyers that we can distribute, and doing little things that we can help to spread the word out through town. So that I think is going to be the goal for the rest of the year. And then starting next year, we'll probably be offering classes, the group classes 1 to 2 a month. And then the individual classes we'll do as a first come, first serve basis.
You think the information you have about the program would be solidified enough that we could include a good intro to it in the November, December Powder House News?
I'm going to try. I'm going to try my best. The reason why I say that is because Shine open enrollment starts October 15th, and I have no idea. I've already met with a few people for Shine, and I suspect, based on the call volume that the Shine Central office is already getting, I might be getting slammed. So depending on how much Shine need there is for Berlin, that's really going to be my make or break.
Okay, but your make or break in terms of implementing
how much I can get planned before the next Powder House. Because Shine ends in December, so once that ends, I'll have more time again.
Is there anything any of us can do to help you with whatever is needed?
Well, If you guys have, if any of you are really interested in this and want to, have either suggestions for classes, want to help with implementation, or, I mean, I'm more than willing to take whatever support, you guys are willing to give.
Give specifics on what sort of help?
At this point, I'm looking to try to see if we can find instructors to teach the classes. As part of the budget that we got, we are able to pay instructors for their time for both the one-on-ones and for the group classes. I know I am working with Victoria at the library to do at least one class there to start. And then that class, we are hoping to start, when we start that class, we're also going to record it and put it up on cable access, because it's going to basically be like digital literacy 101, like how do you turn on a browser, or how do you do this, how do you do that, just to give people like a general baseline. Yeah. And at this point, we have about 5 to 6 topics that we want to cover, but the thought is that depending on demand of the topics, we may have to split and like do those like 2 rounds of a particular class or 3 rounds of a particular class.
And the classes will be conducted
so
different senior communities.
Ding. Yeah.
And COA space itself.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. So it is a work in progress. Like I said, we just got notified. We got notified about a month ago. And as of right now, we're still pending funding, which is also kind of making the timetable a little iffy, just because once the funding comes in, then I can start planning and I can start purchasing what we need. But they told us, I had a meeting with it today, and they were saying that the payment should be coming out very shortly. So fingers crossed.
Okay, so you said the Shine requirements may eat up a bunch of your time in terms of putting a blurb in the November, December Powder House.
I will I can do a blurb. That's not a problem. I just can't give you like a full schedule or, specifics about particular classes as of yet. That's the only thing.
Yep.
But a blurb is fine. That will be doable.
And we're asking people to respond and express an interest, so we get a sense of how there is in it.
Yes. What we could do, and I don't know if we're even going to need to go down this road, but if for whatever reason we have a very low turnout with Berlin, we may be able to reach out to neighboring towns and see if they also wanted to use it as well. But the focus is for Berlin, and I want to keep it for Berliners if at all possible. But like I said, we know that this is going to be a little bit of a slower rollout, but yeah, I as a whole, I am generally optimistic about this. And I think the classes, we're trying to keep the classes kind of short, simple, to the point. They're probably looking at about 45-ish minutes, just kind of covering 2 or 3 general topics per that like overarching theme. So like if the theme is like healthcare portal access, like talking about maybe Medicare or something like that. And then the one-on-ones can really get specific as to what somebody particularly needs.
No,
I don't know if, excuse me, go ahead.
I have a question. After the classes are done, would these iPads or whatever be available at a place like the library for people to use?
Yes.
Who don't have them?
So yes, so Victoria and I have talked about this. What we're going to do is she's going to store them at the library. And what we're going to do is, like all the other devices and books that are at the library, we're going to put a barcode on them. So we're going to have a checkout system of 2 weeks at a time. So if somebody wants to borrow a GrandPad, they can. They have it for 2 weeks. They bring it back. We're coming up with the policies and procedures of, this is, town property. If you lose it, you're responsible for it. Things of that nature. The thing that we're trying to figure out is we don't want people's personal information saved on these GrandPads because they're being distributed out to the masses. So we're just trying to figure out, I'm going to be working with CM Geeks to just try to figure out, is there a way for us to like wipe it clean in between each time a tablet gets checked out, just to make sure that nothing sensitive, because again, is on these tablets.
How many do you think you'd be purchasing?
So the proposal that the proposal that was submitted to the state, which we're going to try to stick with it, is 12 gram pads.
Okay.
So, I mean, and thankfully, like I said, it'll be a good, and again, we understand that not all of them are going to be checked out at the same time. And I'm sure that there's going to be some times where, we're going to have more demand than others. We've budgeted for 5 Wi-Fi hotspots that can also be used as well. So if, say, for example, somebody has crappy internet and they want to use their own devices to learn how to do this stuff, they can check out a hotspot as well. And then we're just trying to figure out how to get purchase the Wi-Fi hotspots with the plans for the best rate.
Okay.
So, like I said, we got quite a bit of money. What we can do is, if, say, for example, Kristen and I were talking about, maybe for the hotspots, we start with 2, see if people use them. If they go, then we go up to the 5. We could hypothetically do that as well with the gram pads, like start with 6, see how much they get used, and then build up to the next 6. But yeah, unfortunately, I know that when they designed this grant, they were hoping that the money was going to come shortly after when we found out that we were going to be accepted, but we didn't get accepted. We were supposed to find out by July. We didn't find out till end of August, and so it's delaying things a little bit. That's all.
Okay,
yeah.
next.
So that's pretty much it for what I have for this meeting. Is there any other business or anything else that you guys need to discuss?
You already discussed the Powder House News potential content, or?
No.
Okay. I've got one in the pipeline, which is Ellie and Joan Bergen talking about their mother and father for influential seniors in town in years past. So that's
cool.
one.
Nice.
Looking for a 5 Ws article.
Bob, I don't know if you would want to do this, but since you are kind of the WRTA liaison for the town, I didn't know if when you have your meetings, and I know it's not always like every month or whatever, if you wanted to do just a quick update, a little blurb regarding that too. It might be nice for for everybody in town to just kind of see what's going on with WRTA.
Well, I have been to one meeting, and they do meet once a month.
Okay.
It's what they're talking about is general. So how many buses they're purchasing, how many drivers they're short, and how that affects the routes. As to a direct impact on Berlin, there is none, because Berlin has no public transportation. Okay. And that's an issue that I am hoping to address. What I'd like to do is get as much input from people in town, both those who had agencies that may be impacted by public transportation, and just citizens in general who believe that there should be more options for getting public transportation out of Berlin. So I'm not sure quite, I haven't figured out why.
Maybe
exactly.
that could even be a blurb itself, just asking for feedback.
Yeah, but I'm thinking either an in-person meeting, an in-person hearing, or a hybrid, an in-person with what we're doing, where people can phone in questions and that sort of thing. But I'd love to get as much feedback as possible. So if I go to a meeting and somebody says, so what are you thinking out in Berlin? I can say, well, tell you this, 3,000 citizens of Berlin are going to come picket your office if we don't get a shuttle van shortly, or something to that effect.
You could start with a little blurb talking about this in the Powder House, and then depending on the response you get, that might be a logical next step.
Yep. Anybody have any suggestions about people making a difference in town, not historical, but current ones?
So we have, so for staff, Victoria's working on a photo for me. We have a new town assessor. Her name is Linda. And we have a new select board assistant. Her name is Dee. She's starting next week. So we will have new staff that can be interviewed. We will get as many of them as we can for the next issue.
You say another Linda? We're gonna have to rename that street. Take off the E-N and put an A on the end.
Well, the assessor, yeah, the assessor's a little different. I don't believe she lives in Berlin, so I think you're all set.
Okay, all right.
I
Anything additional for this meeting?
I would still like to have Karen Caldwell as Cowell as one of the
Yes.
people this issue.
Let me poke the library. We can do
Okay.
that.
As somebody to focus on as a town mover and shaker, Lori?
Yes.
Okay,
She's been with the library for a long time, and I think she should be acknowledged along with the new
Yeah.
librarian.
Yeah.
okay, anything else?
We could spotlight Charlie.
Guy on the MTA?
Yeah. The cute puppy there who's interfering with Karen's ability to take notes.
Yes, he's eating my pen. This is Charlie.
She's the COA mascot.
Well, our dog Rosie's gonna be jealous.
I mean, hypothetically, we could have the dogs of the council if you guys really wanted to, pets of
We
the
just-
council.
We just don't want people to think the council is dogging it. All right, do we have any other new info? Because if not, I'd entertain a motion to adjourn. And when is our next meeting?
Oh, so next meeting is actually scheduled for Halloween. Do you guys want to meet on Halloween or do you want to meet the week before?
I'd say the week before only, well, I don't know. What's, somebody
The
else?
week before is 10/24.
That's fine. That's fine with me.
Yep.
The
same here.
24th?
Do we need to vote on it
Yeah.
or?
Yeah, just
Okay, so all those of having our next meeting on October 24th. Uh-oh. Karen's got a dog too.
Aye.
Mhm.
Somebody read the roll, Laurie.
Karen Schultz,
Aye.
Rachel Boyer,
Aye.
Lori Farabee, aye. Kate Bliss,
Aye.
Pat Wheeler, not here. Bob Blair, Bob.
Bob.
okay. All right, then that's fine. Then we'll plan to meet on the 24th, at 4:00. That's fine.
It is listed in the Potter House News as the 31st.
31st. We can even, yeah, what we can do is we'll put a post out and just kind of reminding everybody. That's all.
Okay, sounds good.
Town meeting calendar and so forth.
Yep.
Okay, great. So to hear a motion to adjourn,
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll
Second,
second it.
third.
read the roll again, Laurie, since you're
Oh,
got it right there in your hot hand.
all right. Karen Schultz,
Aye.
Rachel Boyer,
Aye.
Lori Farabee, aye. Kate Bliss,
Aye.
Bob Blair.
Aye.
All right, guys. Thank you very much for
Mhm.
Bye.